But again, at the end of the day, like, we have to get better. We have to realize that we have to keep on doing the little things, and every little thing that we do out there, every little box out, every little high-low, a guy showing help in the ball, a guy making an extra pass, a guy getting offensive rebound, throwing it out for a three, like all those little things count.
The NBA is a league of incredible athletes and incredibly high standards. These standards, however, are somewhat a sign of respect to greatness. For example, the Milwaukee Bucks have lost 4 of their last 5 games, and it's being spoken about, but not under the same microscope that the Los Angeles Lakers are. And this is because as much as people love to hate or hate to love LeBron James, he is great and his greatness is clear. Having said this, it's always going to be watched closely and scrutinized heavily. Often on this channel, I talk about the Lakers, I talk about LeBron James a lot. I do fall on the side of the pendulum swing and the beliefs that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. And I'm very, very critical of LeBron James, but it's just because I am critical of greatness. It's the same reason why when I watched Tom Brady dominate the NFL for years, I was very, very critical of him, and I was very, very annoyed when he would win. But that's a part of being great, having your doubters, having your haters. And I'm not saying I'm a LeBron James hater, but I am saying I'm not going to jump out of my way to defend him in an argument. I'm not the biggest advocate for him or his play style. Today's video, we're going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks struggle, the NBA playoff race out west, and much more. If you're new here, guys, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button as we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Appreciate all the support I've been getting on my videos recently. Let's jump right into this. For the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. They are the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, so it's very hard to kind of nitpick when you just look at that and you look at the stats and you see Giannis is having a good year. You see Dame has had some definite off games, but he's playing, well for the most part. But the problem is they are the 2 seed, but the 76ers, the New York Knicks, and the Miami Heat are all within 3 games of getting them. So say the Bucks continue the trend they're at and they lose a couple more games in a row. Next thing you know, they go from the 2 seed to the 5 seed. Really only the Celtics are the only team in the Eastern Conference that are just so far ahead of the pack where, we're talking about a 4 to 5 to 6 game difference. Regardless, it just seems to me that the lack of Mike Budenholzer being there, the new and nuance of Adrian Griffin trying to implement a system, gain his players' trust. Obviously, you get rid of Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton isn't the defender he used to be. Damian Lillard's kind of a negative on defense. Brook Lopez still looks really good in the drop, but to me, there seems to be a lack of communication on pick and roll defense. Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez communicated very well, and there was really rarely ever mistakes in Mike Budenholzer's system with these guys. But now it seems as if the chemistry, and it's so normal, guys. We haven't even reached the All-Star break, which is why I'm trying not to be so negative and why I don't want to spend too much time on it. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they have definitely seen better days, especially in the last couple of years. I mean, just 3 years ago, they were NBA champions and they were a top 5 defense in the NBA. And now they're currently the 23rd worst defense, or I guess the 23rd ranked defense in the NBA with a defensive rating of 119.9, so just about 120. And that's really sad. Like, guys, this is on the same level as the Charlotte Hornets, close to the same level as the Detroit Pistons, the San Antonio Spurs, the Atlanta Hawks. And yes, offense can win games and defense is very important, but it's just important when you compare it to last season where the Milwaukee Bucks were the 4th best team defensive rating wise in the NBA behind the Grizzlies, the Cavs, and the Celtics. The Bucks were number 4 with a 111 defensive rating. So to me, the issues with that are just very apparent. The chemistry, after the All-Star break, I think they will look a lot better. I think they'll tighten things up. And I think Adrian Griffin will really get a hold of his guys. Next thing I want to touch on really quickly is the NBA playoff race in the Western Conference. So obviously last night, LeBron James and the Lakers got a victory against the Toronto Raptors. The Lakers shot 24 free throws in the 4th quarter, I want to say, to the Toronto Raptors 2 free throws in the 4th quarter. It doesn't take a microscope or a magnifying glass or a telescope or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't take any of those tools to see that was in the business we call a rigged NBA game. And I really do hate to say that. And then you have LeBron kind of having a cocky little quote saying, you know, it's simple. We, you know, didn't foul and they did foul. But guys, that's really what is happening is the Lakers fell below 500 and now they win a game and they are at 500 and they are officially back in the play-in tournament. The NBA does very well when the ticket sales are up for the Lakers. We just heard that Ja Morant is out for the season. And we also just heard that Draymond Green is making his return to the Golden State Warriors. We can cross the Grizzlies off of making the play-in or the playoffs even. The Warriors are currently the 12 seed in the Western Conference, and they are just 2 games below 500. And if they were 500, they'd be in the play-in. So to me, I'm just, you know, making my early predictions and picks. I think the locked-in 8 teams for the playoffs are the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Mavericks, and then it's going to be either one of the Suns or the Lakers. And personally, I think that the Suns are going to make it. However, I would not be shocked if the Lakers squeaked in, even if the Warriors squeaked into the play-in, because the reality of it is this. Look, are the Lakers a top 8 team in the Western Conference? You know, not really. The record definitely says otherwise. I do think the Rockets will be in the play-in contention. I don't think they'll be in the playoffs. I think, you know, the play-in contention is definitely up for grabs between like the gap from the, you know, 8 seed to the 7 seed is very, I mean, it's you know, we're talking about 4 or 5 games. You know, the Mavericks are 22-16, then the Rockets are 18-17. So we're talking about easily 4 games. 4.5 if you want to get technical, but I really do feel like the top 7 seed, you know, it's going to be like last season where whoever's that 7 seed, like the Pelicans are 6 at 22-15, the Mavericks are 7th at 22-16. I really do feel like they're going to be just fighting for that 6 seed. But the top 5 to me, like the Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets, Clippers, Kings, I do not see that at all even remotely a little bit changing. Like those guys are going to make the playoffs, and then 6 through 10 I think is going to be the Pelicans, the Mavericks, the Suns, and the Lakers. So who's going to make the playoffs out of that bunch? I have no idea. I could be wrong. The Rockets could make it. The Warriors could squeak in and make it. It's really an unpredictable, beautiful league. That is the NBA, and we love it. But I just feel as if right now there is a lot of, I mean, the NBA is always going to be unfair, whether that's officiating, whether that's criticizing certain teams, whether that's putting teams up in the limelight, or whether that's, you know, beating them down. What do you guys think? What do you make of this video? What do you think of my prediction for the playoffs and whatnot? Let me know yours in the comments below. Appreciate your guys' support as always. Shout out to the Timberwolves for whooping up on the Magic last night. I caught that game, and I know Franz and Jonathan Isaac weren't playing, but Timberwolves just look really good, man. I appreciate your guys' support as always. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.